everybody, it's Romania Black, and after a long weekend of travel, I am finally back and able to watch episode 7 of Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2, and I'm pretty excited because last week, Genau, Methode, demon slaying, everything, it was so good! So I'm really excited to see what we're going to get with this episode as we're getting into the latter part of Season 2. So I actually have quite a few comments for episode 5 that I want to talk about with you all. I have not gotten the chance to read episode 6 comments yet. Since we are taking a break on my channel, you can go see my March update video. I will have plenty of time to look at those comments. So I'll be getting those ready when we dive into the rule of 8 next week. Y'all know 8's my lucky number. But in the meantime, we're going to dive into the comments for episode 5 and see what y'all had to say about those. There's quite a bit. Christopher Peterson, in reply to the episode 5 intro comment, said, I could see the goddess being an old elven prank, but would someone like Kraft be following that? I guess we don't know how long elves have been around in this world, so if that prank is so ancient that it's even in the far distant past for an older elf like him, it might be so. Yeah, I don't know. That is a good point. Like, with Kraft, would he really have followed along with it? But we don't know how old this prank could be. So if it is a prank, it could be something that even got past Kraft. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. CRHJ2HK for episode 5 says, Foss may be my new favorite character. He's so cute! But also I love that despite the result, he was able to find joy in it, but also along the way he learned new skills. Maybe the Norm Company could hire him. Silver linings. The silver lining with the Norm Company. Why not? Why not? And then Foranoda gave us a nice German lesson in episode 5, saying that scene in the mine when they did Frieren's spell to find the ore, that's one single panel in the manga. The team just absolutely goes bonkers when it comes to pulling animation like this out of their hat. I mean, the episode itself was pretty low-key up until that point, so if the animation studio was like, let's just go ahead and go all out with this one panel, why not? Why not? Also, compound interest is a bitch. Going from 15 gold coins to 580 years, ouch. Though, to be fair, that's only about 4.5% per year, so it's actually a fairly good rate to borrow, unless you fail to make any repayments for 80 years. And Frieren's like, I didn't go to school for math. Or to pay taxes. Oh my god, that's crazy though. I felt like I was back in a math class reading that. Fornoda also says the German lesson of the week. This is a long one, so many things to talk about. The beer region, beer equals beer, B-E-E-R, simple as that. Old man Foss, Foss equals keg, a cask, or a barrel. Bowshaft liquor, Bowshaft pronounced Bowschaft, is nasty, wicked, spiteful, or evil. Or, more rarely, also malicious or venomous. You would think with it being called Bowshaft that you'd have that interpretation, but that's okay. Millard the Elf. So Millard is the German word for the next major power of 10 after million, as Germany uses the long scale. It goes million, millard, billion, billiard. Oh, since the US uses the short scale, the same value would be million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. The Norm Company, norm is similar to the English word meaning standard, rule, or quota. Older words that have been introduced before. Strahl, which is beam or ray or jet, like a jet of water. Reich, which is rich as an adjective, or domain, like realm. Also, fun Easter egg. The guys in the wanted posters next to Frieren's are the same guys we saw from the bar when Frieren was looking for sweets for Fern's birthday in season 1, episode 3. The pink-haired guy and the bartender, to be exact. Their names are Kuchen, again with the CH like in Doc, a couple episodes ago, cake or tort layer cake. The main difference between Kuchen and tort is that Kuchen is usually baked as a single product and is usually dry, whereas tort is made up of several layers, filled with a cream or fruit, and is generally more decorated and bigger. Bonbon is candy, Kex is cookie, and they were experts for sweets. Ah, that's really fun. So, love all that. Love the callback to season 1. Come on, season 1. And I just want to make this note. I noted this in the Discord, but when we had all of the setup at the beginning of episode 6, where the baker's son is looking out and he sees the 3 demons, and then he sees the child standing there crying. When we got to the church and saw all the bodies laid out, the little kid wasn't there. So I was thinking in the discussion, and as I was editing, is the kid also a demon that was luring people to get attacked? Maybe, possibly. We'll just have to see on that. But yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. So before we start, I, of course, want to give a shout out to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon, to thank you all on Patreon so much for supporting my channel. You all are amazing. And of course, our philanthropy tier, they get a shout out in my videos each week. It just depends on the video, depends on the week. But for this week, I want to give a shout out to Alex Cornejo, to Alexandra Q, to Be Happy, to Dana, to Damage3245, to Daniel Devorin, Destiny Marie, Diana Williams, Ichu, Eric, Fisho, Ghostly, Turnip, L, Freya, Lou Genesis, James, Lyndon, Murphew, as well as Rast, Rose Jennison, Sunspots, Translucent Men, Shimoyama, as well as Zero Anti-Zero, Nicholas, Sean, and Jason N. Thank you all so much for your support, and to everyone over on Patreon, thank you all so much for your support as well. All of my love. And if you are on YouTube watching this video, just go ahead and like the video. Give this channel a subscription if you want to see more Frieren every week, at least until season 2 is over. And just be sure to comment down below and let me know what you thought about the episode as well as the discussion. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. All right, y'all, let's get into this, shall we? We are going to start episode 7 of season 2 of Frieren, and we are going to be doing that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's dive in. Can I just... Can I just say I love Genau? I freaking love Genau, and if Genau dies in this arc, I am going to be devastated. I am going to be devastated if this man dies, because I freaking love Genau. I love him so much. Oh my gosh. Look, Frieren, you've done a really good job of not killing people off. So can we not kill off Genau? Please don't do that. I just need Genau to die of old age. That's all I need. That's all I need in my life. Oh my God. I love me an angsty man character, and Genau is just like, the ennui, the angst. I love him so much. I love him so much. Before we get started talking about this, I did want to, like I said, I have not had the chance to go through everybody's comments for episode 6, but I do want to point out, in the Discord, FD23W2, they had commented, and I want to share this comment because I think it relates to Genau's character in episode 7. Exploring the Northern Lands offers a fresh perspective on Genau's character. While his decision to place exam participants in an area filled with monsters initially seems callous, it's actually a pragmatic reflection of the region's harsh reality. This context clarifies why he remained indifferent to Census criticism regarding the high casualty rate. The exam wasn't unnecessarily cruel, but rather an accurate representation of the dangers inherent to the North. While this doesn't necessarily excuse the loss of life, it at least moves him away from being painted as a purely heartless man. No, I agree with that completely. And honestly, I mean, you could see why Werble was not really bothered by the fact during the exam. He's like, this is just how the Northern Lands are. But honestly, I feel like Genau wants you to believe he is the worst person, and he believes in so little of himself. But as Stark points out, he's like, you are a good person. You just don't want to think you're a good person. You don't want to believe in that, right? You've accepted the fact that you think you're a terrible person, and that's not perhaps all the way true. So let's just dive into this episode. This was so good. This was so good. Feels good to come back to episodes like this. Here in 3, 2, 1, I freaking love Genau. Genau has grown on me in 2 episodes to be one of my favorite characters in this whole damn series. I freaking love him. Yes. So we start back where Sari is, and Sari's like, what a beautiful mausoleum, beautiful library, beautiful temple, beautiful home. Like, Sari's just having the best old time, even though they don't look it, saying Genau's partner died in battle the other day. So it was against Revolt. It was against Revolt, this demon, the divine Revolt. that Genau has been up against him and is tracking them down, basically. Also, this demon has basically been responsible for the death of 2 men that he had feelings towards, so a revenge quest it is. I like that Sari's just like, I don't understand these feelings, but just do whatevs. I guess go with him. You're going to be partners for a while. You guys have a good color scheme going on. Let's just keep it going. I mean, obviously Sari knows that Methode is strong enough to handle herself, but also Methode is, you know, going with her name, kind of methodical. She's, you know, very smart and strategic and knows her strategy well. And she seems like the type of person who could handle Genau's like kind of lone wolf syndrome, which he's not a lone wolf. He's a damn bird. He's a damn raven. We're going to talk about it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. But yeah, so they get together and Methode's like, hey, well, it's fine. Everything's going to be good. I'm looking forward to working with you. And he's just like, all of my partners have died. He's just such a gloomy man. But you understand why he is like that, because he's had to like work in these harsh environments where he's lost his partners. He's just this jaded cop. And he's like, you know, this is a pretty dangerous place. Don't hold me back. And she's like, did I say I was going to, sir? I love that she's just like, I'm holding my hand out and being polite, sir. I think I'm a big girl. I'll figure it all out, you know. But he's just kind of jaded. And Sari's like, go ahead and shake her damn hand. And he's like, fine. He's like, I will. And Sari's like, why is this so difficult? So anyway, feed the birds. Also the bird motif, the fact that Genau is always feeding the birds, the fact that he has the birds like around him. Also, there is this metaphor of him wanting to fly away. So literally him flying from his hometown to become a mage is connected to that. Obviously the spell that gives him wings, I'm assuming that's the spell he got from Sari for passing the mage exam. I'm assuming that's the spell that was given to him from Sari, was the ability to grow wings and fly. I love it. The motif of it, the fact of him flying away, the fact of the freedom that it gives him. I eat it up. I eat it up. And him feeding the birds all pity him. But yeah, so he basically says, do you think you're a good person? Because Genau's like, all the people that are good people that I've been around have died. And she's like, what are you even talking about? And he's like, my partner was a good person. The exact opposite of me. Here's the thing though. They're not the exact opposite of you. They have the opposite personality of you because you're a grumpy man who's filled with angst and ennui, but you're not a bad person, Genau. You're just like a pragmatic realist, but that doesn't make you a bad person. And I'm glad Stark is able to tell him as much in this episode, but he's like, he tried his hardest for complete strangers. Also, can we establish that this man had a type? Genau has a type. A sunny dispositioned blonde? You might as well. He has a type. I'm just saying. Just saying. Y'all don't have to think that Genau is gay. You don't have to think that he's homosexual. You don't have to think that at all. But that is my headcanon, is Genau is this grumpy gay man stuck in the northern region fighting for his life. And he's had this type. And it's not worked out real good. So, yeah. But damn, bolsterous and full of smiles. He does. Look how different they are. It's so funny. He treated me as an old friend. Like, Genau, just this grumpy man, I swear. Also, his partner did have kind of like a Stark vibe to him. He's like, come on, fist bump, friend. Yeah, his personality drew people to him. And you could tell that there's like a part of Genau that does... like, that Genau is drawn to those personalities as well. He's drawn to those personalities because he doesn't understand them, because they're so different. And there's kind of an interesting dialogue here about the demons and the one demon being fascinating by humans and the illogical things that they do that Genau kind of connects to as well. It's so fascinating. I love it. But yeah. And so he gets really sad. He says he was a fool. Because he ended up getting killed by the one demon. Yep. Trying to protect a child. And Genau just does not understand it. Genau's like, I would not have tried to protect that kid. Because of that, we failed to kill the demon. He's like, I would never do anything so stupid. I've forsaken countless people already. And Genau feels like he's a bad person because he wouldn't have stopped to save random strangers. And he says he wouldn't have stopped to save a child. And he kind of, you can tell he's sort of resentful of himself. And he views it as cowardice, him running away or him not protecting others. But then Stark points out, he's like, but you're here protecting the corpses in the village, and you're trying to protect the village when you don't need to be here. He's like, you have this in you. You're just denying it because you view it as a weakness. And she's like, well, why was I chosen to work with you? And he's, I don't know, Sari said so. I think Sari knows that she can keep up with him. That those who get dispatched, are usually the type that love fighting more than 3 meals a day. And that's kind of because you have to. He's like, it's strange. Why you and not Ubel? Well, I know why not Ubel. Ubel would probably knock you over the head and steal your wallet and run away. Let's be real. I cannot imagine Ubel working with Genau. Ubel would be so bored of him. And Ubel would be so done. She'd be like, bye, and probably leave halfway through the mission because she'd get bored. No. Ubel and him are not, I don't feel they are compatible at all. I think Ubel would be fine, but she's kind of a lone wolf herself, whereas Genau understands that he has to work with people in order for things to work, so he's willing to concede a little bit. I can't see Ubel conceding at all. I see her just being going off and doing her own thing and being like, screw you all, and that being that. Yeah, no. No decent person likes fighting. He says, don't end up like me. I mean, I feel like that don't end up like me is on a number of levels. Don't end up like me being disillusioned and being cynical about everything. Don't end up like me and having all your partners die. And don't end up like me. I'm waiting for that to come back because I feel like Genau kind of has a death wish throughout this episode where he's just like, I'll stay back by myself. And Stark's like, that's a dumb idea. And he's like, I'm fine. I can handle it. And now in hindsight, knowing that he has the wings, he could fly away if he needed to. So that kind of makes more sense now that we know he has the ability to fly away. But still, I'm like, you said don't let her end up like you. That means you can't die. So don't be doing that, Genau. No. So they start going over all the information that they have. There are 4 primary demons. One of them is very young. One of them didn't seem like they were in this battle. So I don't know why they're hanging back. Maybe because they're young and they're the least experienced. Perhaps. The one demon, the one that's fighting Fern and Frieren, seems like he does long-range attacks with magic, whereas the girl with the sword that's fighting Methode is more close combat. So, interesting. So yeah, now, as far as we know, these are not none of these demons are the sage, because Frieren, especially the 2 that attacked them, Frieren does not seem to recognize them. So we don't think so. And I would honestly assume if Revolt was one of the 7 sages that Frieren would recognize them or recognize a 4-sworded demon, but she says she's never fought one herself. So maybe none of these demons are the sage. Maybe they're just high magic using demons. I don't know. But yeah, she's like, some of the generals in the demon's army were stronger than Ison. And I think Frieren says this to tell Stark that, these demons can be individually stronger than each of us, but together, us working together, we're going to be able to overcome them. And if it's a 4-sworded, demon, it probably doesn't look as human. No. Now, there's the motif of the snake and the bird, snake and the sparrow, because you have, Genau, all the symbolism of Genau becoming the winged man like a bird. And then you have Revolt, which looks like a snake. So on the one hand, it's kind of like the show has not made it known to us whether it's one of 2 scenarios. Either Genau is at a disadvantage because it's like the snake eating birds, because snakes eat birds. Or it's going to be, it's like, is Genau the sparrow or is Genau the eagle? Because if Genau is the sparrow, he's in trouble because Revolt might have the upper hand. But if he's like the eagle, then Revolt, is in trouble because the eagles eat snakes. So it's going to be like, which one is Genau? That's what we don't know at this moment by the end of the episode. I can't believe we have a 3-parter. Didn't imagine that in Frieren, but I'm here for it. And the knights probably lost because they didn't know how to fight somebody that could battle with 4 swords. I do love their design. I love the golden armor and then the hair all that and the snake design. Also, this little tiny demon that is like, looks like the little girl is interesting. I'm curious because their eyes and stuff are blotted out. I'm curious why that is, if we're going to see their eyes. So they say there's 1 warrior and 3 mages, which she's like, we can handle that many. So they're missing the 1 mage, which is interesting. We'll wait for them to split up. They seem rather guarded. And he's like, that's why we provoked them by killing all those people. It's interesting. There is a point in this discussion that feels kind of like both sides saying the same thing. In the course of destroying all these villages on the northern plateau, I've noticed something. And he's like, we're going to go look. And so then he doesn't say exactly what he's noticed, but I'm curious if they've been following Genau and trying to hunt him down. I don't know. So they're like, we're going to head to the abandoned fort to the north first to look. They didn't have to go very far. But along the way, that's when Genau's like, the order needs to go and collect the bodies. Which I do agree with the demons, that the one demon Revolt, he talks about how humans are obsessed with protecting the dead. And the one little demon's like, well, why is that? That seems rather illogical. And he's like, I don't know. But when he says like, that's not for us to worry about, there's like a coldness to him saying like, that's just the way things are. And that's how humans are. Don't worry about it. That matches what Frieren says about the demons, where she's like, that's just how the demons are. Don't worry about it. There's a little bit of a match there. And I know that in Frieren, the demons are just demons. They're not really, there's not anything super deep about the demons or nuanced. They're just animals that can talk. And so I feel like there could be something more there. There's a little interesting tie into that, but I don't know how deep the show is going to go into it. I do find it interesting the one demon wants to know more about humans. And then he mentions, Revolt mentions there's a demon that specializes in humans. Don't know such things. But yeah, Genau just always looks so nonchalant. He's just like, nope, that's just how it is. Like just deep in the angst. Deep in the angst Genau is. He's like, I'll stay here. Humans have a habit of remaining in the villages. Okay, maybe that's what he's noticed going through the northern plateaus. That's what he's noticed. So he's like, we could go back and I'll go back and attack because they've decided to stay behind. He's like, why do they do that? And then he says, we don't need to know the reason. Yeah, again, there's that discussion that Revolt gives. Revolt and Frieren kind of have a similar viewpoint of that's just the way the other side is. We don't need to know why. And he's like, you're interested in humans. How strange. He says humans sometimes behave illogically and irrationally. And I want to know why they do that. And he says it's just how they are. There's nothing more to it. But apparently there's an eccentric demon who studies humanity. That seems like a contradiction because most of the demons are just supposed to be predators. So an idea that one studies people seems like contradictive to the entire concept of demons in this world building. But I'm curious who that demon is. And maybe we'll find that out at some point. Like, tell me more about them. If you think it will be of use to you, I will. So yeah, but we don't know. I guess at the abandoned fort here, maybe this little demon's stuck back behind. I don't know. Because the 3 of them seem like they're going off to do their thing. To be fair, back in the village, I don't think the little demon came with them. I think it might have stayed behind. So yeah, Genau's like, I'll come meet back up with you after the order collects the bodies. And Stark's like, no, I'm sticking behind with you. I just love, he's like, are you stupid? Yeah, I mean, Genau, you've been hanging around people like this your whole life. You should probably know by now. You should know the calling card. I know he's not your type, but Genau just can't help but be surrounded by people that want to help him. He's like, well, same goes for you. He's like, you shouldn't stay by yourself. What if a demon returns? He's like, it's not going to be a problem. I can fight well enough without a frontliner. It still felt kind of like a death wish. I'm like, Genau, up until... Why he didn't just say he had the ability to fly away? That would have been nice. Just be like, look, I can get wings. Go on. I'll catch up to y'all. I can fly away. Don't worry. And he's like, well, if things get bad, they can run away. You can't run away, though, because you would be abandoning the village. And Genau's like, quit using my arguments and throwing them back to me. He's like, quit doing that. All that's left here is the dead. And that in itself felt like a red flag where he's like, just the dead are left here. I'm like, Stark doesn't want you to be one of them. That's the point. He's like, fine, suit yourself. I also do love the fact that while we have the girls going on a girls trip, I love that Genau always has the crows and everything flying around as his familiars. Everything about Genau is like checking off all the boxes for me. Bird powers, yes. Angsty, yes. Possible shipped doomed yaoi, yes. Bird motif, yes. Everything. Dark angel motif, yes. All of these things make him like a character that I just am falling so far in love with. And he labels Stark as a good person. And he's like, I've known people like you and they tend not to live long. And Stark's like, well, you seem like a good person too. So red flag touche, you know? He's like, I'm not. He's like, yeah, you're still defending the village even after it's been destroyed. And Stark's like, I couldn't do that. And we see him going through the same, like when he ran away from his village getting attacked when he was a kid. He's like, I couldn't do that. And you're doing it. So clearly, you know, you are a good person. He's like, well, I'm the opposite. I've done whatever it took to bring peace to the northern lands. And I've killed and forsaken so many people. You get used to people dying, you know. I don't even feel slightly sad. And that's the thing. I think he's lying to himself because he clearly was sad that the baker's son died. He clearly was sad. But he's not going to admit that because he's created this narrative about himself. And he's like, well, this is the narrative and I'm sticking to it. No. But we as the audience know you did grieve that man dying. You clearly have grieved your friend, your partner dying. Like, you can sit there all day long and be Bruce Wayne and try to be all angsty and stoic. But we as the audience know you clearly have felt sad about it because you're still here watching over the body. So don't try and deny all that and say it's behind this. He's like, you say your hometown's destroyed, but you feel nothing. He's like, I just stayed because I thought I should. And Stark's like, well, there's clearly a reason you thought you should, right? You just aren't reflecting on it. You're choosing not to reflect. He's like, what am I even doing? And Stark's like, well, he remembers Frieren saying many people call this place home. And he's like, do I tell the man that he actually cares? Or what do I do? Or do I just let him figure it out for himself? Meanwhile, we have like the one scene of levity where Frieren's like, hey, let's talk and communicate and it'll help strengthen our teamwork and lower the tension. And Methode is like, hey, since we're here, may I pet you? I love that, like Fern didn't say that to Stark, like back a few episodes ago and Stark freaked out. But here, Frieren's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm not a small girl. I'm just petite. I know you like love giving head pats, but she's like, Siri only lets me do it so often. And she always looks so displeased. That's because these elves are cat-coated. They don't want to be pet. And Siri's just like, oh, I love it. And Fern's like, you know, she's a mature lady. I don't think that she would really go for any of that. That doesn't seem like it's going to work. And then Methode's like, well, I do have this grimoire that will show you how to keep the eggshells from falling in when you're cracking the eggs. And Frieren's like, you can pet me all you want. Frieren's like, you got me a grimoire, girl, you speaking to my heart. Let's go. This is the best part. This is the funniest part of the damn episode. And Methode's like, yes. It's just so cute. She's just like, I got to pet you. And Fern's like, why? Fern's like, I just don't understand. And then Methode's like, you know, you're letting me pet you more than I've ever been able to pet Sari. I like Genau's like, no more than 10 minutes per day. Sari's like, protect me. I love it. I love Genau has to step in. And she's like, she's like, is there a chance that I can hug you a little? Methode's getting greedy. And Frieren is just like, you know what? I don't even care. I got this grimoire. You can do whatever you want. Oh my God. And Fern's like, stop it. I feel like it's so funny because Fern is such a tsundere. And so she has like no desire to be that touchy-feely. And so this is just making her uncomfortable. And she's like, leave my grandma alone. I freaking love Methode. Methode is so great. I just imagine walking in on this, and this is what you see. Himmel's so jealous right now from Beyond the Grave. Himmel's ghost is so jealous of Methode right now. There's just no way. Mm-mm. But anyway, so we can't have nice things forever, and the demons notice where they are, and Frieren's like, well, it's about damn time. Let's get to going this. You know, I like that Frieren is so battle-hardened over the years. She's, like, been through all these different trials and tribulations, and she's like, I've been to war before. This is nothing new. As she flings her pigtails back. You know? It's great. I like the design of the two demons. The one, she and Revolt are looking very Digimon. They're very Digimon today. I think it's the bands with the different shapes over them. They feel very, feels very Digimon, right? They also go to the same hairstylist. And then you have the one guy, he looks similar to some of the demons we've seen in the past. With the broken horn and the staff and all that. Now, I don't know where the child demon went. They're not here, so maybe they're stuck back at the fort. I don't know. But yeah, animation-wise, this series... The animation with Jeannot's battle... Just orgasmic is a great word for that, honestly. But, so Methode's gonna battle the one demon. She looks... like she has the sword and then the little trinkets and everything. And the other demon is going to battle Fern and Frieren. Which I love that Fern is doubting herself. Like Fern has this fear where she doesn't think she's going to be good enough to face off against the demon. And then Frieren's like, you're fine. You're going to be okay. You're good. We can do this. So I love the fact that Frieren backs up Fern and she's like, look, I believe in you. It's going to be okay. You think that you're not as skilled, but it's going to be fine. I'm curious what this demon here is. That's like down, like, was that from a flashback? Until 40 years ago, they ruled the skies. So Fern is concerned of how they can only know one type of magic and still fly. And Frieren's like, well, all the demons have really been able to fly over the years. So this is nothing new. I feel like it's good that Frieren is there saying all of this because Fern gets really concerned about the demons flying and Frieren's just like, this is nothing. They've always been able to do that. Like, it's okay. It's just don't overthink it. Don't overthink about the magic things and all that. Like, just focus on the demons and fighting them and it'll be fine. Like, I'm glad that Frieren is so calm that she's able to kind of bring Fern down to a place of calm as well. And Methode seems fine. Methode's just like, I got a battle axe. We're all going to be good. So yeah, she's like, it won't be a problem. You got this. Yeah. She's like, don't doubt yourself. And Frieren's like, you've got all the fundamentals down. Don't doubt yourself. You're going to be just fine. Meanwhile, while they're fighting them, we go back to Genau and Stark. And of all times, for Stark to catch fish that aren't tiny, he actually caught decent fish in this episode. Are you kidding? And no one's there to congratulate him. Genau, you have no idea how difficult this has been for this poor boy. He's like, Methode will be angry at me. Why would she be angry? She says it's unhealthy to eat late night. Oh, okay. He's like, well, more for me then. I mean, and he's like, fine. Like, look how happy he is. He looks so happy. He's like, I always get hungry at this hour. And then he thinks back and he's like, maybe I shouldn't. He's like, don't tell Fern. I love that he's like, don't tell Fern. And then Jeannot's like, whatever. Maybe there's some people that ship Methode and Genau. I see them as friends and partners, but I don't see them like as a ship. But I also doubt Genau is going to tell on you, Stark, so I think it'll be okay. He's like, sure. So, yeah. And they're just waiting on the fish to get heated up. So he's like, the demon who attacked this village, you know them, don't you? He's like, well, the divine revolt is the demon who killed my partner. And Stark's like, well, that's a grandiose name, now that you're telling us all of this. I do think the idea of him being able to change the weights of the swords is terrifying. The fact that they're magic, that kind of makes sense with the world building. They're magic swords anyway. So being able to change the weight is pretty terrifying in itself. And not only that, I like that Genau, he's kind of like, well, yeah, these demons can create objects with magic that don't exist, but so can we. So, you know, it's fighting fire with fire. The divine cleaving swords. They're light and sharp and unbelievably heavy. He's like, magic can create objects that shouldn't exist. Weapons made from magic are the embodiment of murderous intent. I think that that's interesting because in going along with Genau's conversation about whether he's a good person or not, he had the opportunity to take any magic spell from Sari that he wanted. And the opportunity to create weapons from magic was definitely on the table. But he instead, if I'm getting this right, he instead chose to have a spell that could make him grow wings, which is not a weapon, but rather a mode of transportation and a way to conduct battle. So I feel like that speaks a lot to his character, again, that he doesn't even want to acknowledge for himself, right? Because you have this demon creating magic weapons, obviously with the murderous intent, and then the magic that Genau requests is not doing that same thing. They create such weapons. Demons that create such weapons kill many people. Far more than necessary just to test them. So yeah, and then, of course, he shows up. This big-ass snake. I am very worried for Stark. I'm not worried for Genau so much right now, but I am worried for Stark because Stark seems way in over his head. And I feel like Stark is used to having Frieren tell him what to do or give him like a battle plan idea. And Genau is not that type of person. Genau is not the type to be like, okay, we're going to do A, B, and C. Geno's just like, figure it out, keep up. And, you know, that's just because that's how he's had to be in the Northern Plateau. So I'm a little bit worried about Stark, especially against this monster, because he's definitely got battle experience and has know-how. And he's like, is this him? You seem to know who I am. And this mage looks particularly familiar. And Genau's just like, Genau's just like, why do I even have to talk to you? You're a pest. I'm like, Genau, quit antagonizing the demon. But that's just how Genau is. He's like, we're both capable of speech, but if you don't want to talk, then fine. I'll exterminate these pests before me. And so Genau's like, look, you can deflect blows and be fine, right? We're all good, right? I love when he goes after Genau and as like Stark's getting pushed away, he's like, I can't protect you. And Genau's like, I don't need you to protect me. I like Genau's like, I got this. Despite how I may seem, I'm skilled in close quarters combat. This scene right here, I want to get to it. But whenever he goes like after Genau, the way that Genau slides away was so freaking good. Like that just, the animation of him sliding away, like Genau always seems so calm and so in control. And him just like flipping around, and getting up in the air like that. And he's like, demon magic isn't the only magic capable of producing objects that shouldn't exist. And there's like angst to that too, because he's using this magic to create wings, but then he's like, it shouldn't exist. So it's like, there's even just a level of angst to him having this ability is just, like, and the way that he like does the whole like curls in on himself to use the magic of Degargnot, like just the way he does that to grow the wings. It just feels like he's doing something he knows he shouldn't, and it's like, Also, if we're gonna go with like the whole queer theory route, the idea of him having wings, the idea of him having something that is not normal, I just, there's layers to Genau with this. I freaking love it. I love him just like growing the wings. It's beautiful. I live. Niello wings. What are Niello wings? Interesting. Yeah. What are Niello? I want to look up. Niello. Niello is a black mixture. Oh! Of sulfur, copper, silver, and lead. Like metal wings. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. I mean, that would kind of make sense to, like, if they were metal wings. That would kind of work. Love it. And it being like sulfur and flames. Okay. That kind of all checks out. All right. I'm so here for it. I freaking love Jeannot. I freaking love his ability. I love his character. I am just 100% sold on it. And show, if you kill him off, I'm going to be so pissed. So pissed. So, I cannot wait to hear your comments down below about this episode, your thoughts on Jeannot, thoughts on the demons. I'm going to be checking out this episode 6 and 7 comments before we get to episode 8. Next week is the rule of 8. Next week is my lucky numbers. So, y'all know I'm excited. So, anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah! I'll be back very soon with more of Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2. And I'll see you there. Bye.